I joined the Graebner Chapter in 1990 at Springpex. Larry Carney signed me up. He also signed me up for the AFDCS at that particular show. I think I bought a few Graebner covers maybe then, and over the years I've casually collected them, and about 5 years ago I decided I really should try to get as many as I could find. And I've been a member for a long time. And right now I probably have in my stash maybe 700 or 750 covers. Most of them are from the last 20 years, and that includes, you know, combo covers and variations of cancels and things like that. That's where this presentation comes from. And it's the early covers that I'm always looking for, and that's what we're going to show today. So let's move to the next slide. There were two first covers made, the Al Jolson Cachet, and they had a stuffer card in each one. And I have a Jolson Cachet. I believe that the artist was John Stampone. Does that sound right, everybody?
Stampone did them.
Stampone, yeah.
Yeah.
He was
the cartoon artist for the Army Times.
Army Times, yeah. And also did a lot of cachets for Larry, I think, too.
They did it for Larry.
Yeah.
The stuffer card is hard to find. I only found the stuffer card a couple years ago.
Yeah, I've got this one, and the next one is the Helen Hayes cover.
That's the other one.
That's the other one, and I've got a stuffer card for each of them. I bought one of these from Trisfall on eBay 2 nights ago for $2. And the reason I bought it was because it was super cheap, and I'm going to donate it. I'm going to send it to Lick back for the auction. The cover sells normally on eBay for 15 to 20 bucks, depending.
Tris appears to have a quantity of them, so I bought them from him as well.
So yeah, I know. And I want to apologize a little bit for my scans. You're going to see some red smudges here and there, and this one got some on it. I scanned some covers last week, and evidently the red ink wasn't quite all set up, and I didn't realize that my scanner screen needed cleaning. So you may see some red stuff. Let's go to the next one. These are kind of in chronological order. Here's a Harriet Tubman from '78. Those first two were from '77. I don't have a list of what covers Graebner did, and I don't know if anybody really has a census of the covers.
You'll note that cover is in 3 colors.
Yeah. And
the presses they were using were 2-color presses. I believe that they printed the brown and the green first, and then did the red.
Did the red. And then the next one is tap test again.
And you have the same situation with this one.
Yeah. And then the next one is this is kind of an interesting one. A little more text and a little more definition of it. You can tell the artwork is getting a little more detailed. And
well, this one they probably put the black in last.
Yeah.
And you'll notice that one does have John Stampone's signature.
Yeah.
Cachet.
This is where I think this is the first one I've seen where his signature is. Sometimes they're kind of hidden, but they're. And the next cover is there are 2 versions of this particular cachet. And I got this one from Carl, and I was trying to buy the other version of it, which instead of the pile of books there, shows a figure image of Kennedy. And I can't remember if it's as a senator or whatever, but Carl had it on eBay, and I bought it, and then Carl emailed me back and says, I don't really have this cover. Sorry, here's your refund. So there is another cachet that was done for this particular issue. So I know of 2 cachets. Colorations are the same. The only thing that's different is where the book pile is another image of Kennedy. And the next one is John Paul Jones. And this one has, I think, who was the guy that was always getting the Gam castles up at the in the Philadelphia area.
Len Slaughter.
Yeah, is this one of his castles? Do you think? It's got New York.
Before I was in Graebner.
Yeah, it's a destroyer castle. USS Jones. So kind of an interesting castle. It doesn't have it's the first day, but this is the only.
The likelihood is Jerry Adelman got to cancel.
Oh, okay.
That's my guess.
All right. And
Peter?
Yeah.
That cover on Paul Jones also comes with a black cancel. That's a ship cancel.
Oh, okay.
And it's also, I've got one here that's got both the ship cancel and the bullseye on it, the red one that
Yeah.
you've got.
And the next cover is Banneker. And this one, he did. If John did this, I don't see the signature, but
No, but it's his.
it's it.
It's like his style.
And the next one is Perkins. He did sign that one.
This one exists with a whole number of different unofficial cancels and combos. I've dabbled with this stamp because the artist who designed it, I gave a presentation on it 2 years ago at Graebner. The artist that designed it lived in the town I grew up in, and I knew his son. And this is the only stamp he ever designed. Chris Cowley believes his father got him the commission for the stamp. So Francis Perkins is definitely an interesting person. At some point, I may scan those covers in and do that presentation again.
And the next one is Dolly Madison. There's two of these covers, and this one has the hand cancel. The scan is actually a little bit brighter than the actual cover. The cover is kind of dull, and the colors are kind of washed up.
You'll note this was in 4 colors,
Yeah, and
which means 2 full passes to the press.
yeah, and it has a Arlington, which must be a cancel that Lorraine made. I assume that Lorraine was getting most of it, was doing most of this.
Well, I think Larry was doing the Cachets at that time, but
Okay.
I can't remember exactly. I know Lorraine took it over.
I say Lorraine probably got, because she had her box there at the time.
Yeah, that's why I was thinking that this was a cancel that she got. And the next one is the VA, and this is a combo cover. And I assume that most of these combos were done by Lorraine too.
Yeah.
And then this one is the labor one with the regular first day. And John did sign this one. And then there's another one coming up where we've got a signature from the designer. I assume
That's Peter McClure. POCCI, I think his last name is.
Yeah, the stamp designer.
A stamp designer, yeah.
And then I think there is a combo cover here with the Freedom Ring cachet. Wasn't this at the Smithsonian?
That was at the main post office at the time, which of course is now the Postal Museum.
Okay.
The Let Freedom Ring was at L'Enfant Plaza.
Now,
That's what I thought. But
well, 1980 would be pre-L'Enfant Plaza.
yeah, I guess so.
Yeah.
But
Well,
it was definitely at L'Enfant Plaza. Then
That was at the downtown post office before they moved.
Yeah.
Okay.
Eventually,
And then they took it with them when they moved.
and then it got lost at one of the first day ceremonies.
Yeah. Well, they're all gone now, anyway.
Yeah.
All of those cancels were recalled or whatever. They closed down all those philatelic centers. They all had their own cancel.
This one made it to the Postal Museum for quite a number of years, and it may have been Leola that said, we came back for a ceremony and we couldn't find it, so we think we left it behind at the ceremony, and it's never ordered a new one.
I think today is also American Red Cross Day by coincidence. And this cover has a dual cancel, and evidently the stamp came out in DC, and Apex was in Arlington in 1981. And kind of an attractive cover, even though the scan's a little bit oversized, but
Yeah, this scan didn't come in.
Only 40 years old.
yeah, almost. Here's another cover from 1981. This one is kind of special for me, even though I don't collect this issue. Many times I've kind of thought maybe I would. My daughter happened to be born on June 3rd, 1981. And she has the big 4-0 this year. And I every now and then I keep thinking maybe I should have collected a set of Charles Drew covers for her, but I've never gotten around to doing it. And she has no interest in stamps, so it's kind of a moot point.
She's not still in there.
And then here's another one that probably a totally politically incorrect cachet by today's standards. And this one has a different artist on it, I think.
That's the same artist.
That's that one.
John
Oh,
Stamp.
okay, that's right. That's right. And then here's the Hoban stamps. I think this is the 20 cent first day, the date.
I don't know how many sets were done.
Yeah. A few Graebner meetings ago, we had our James Hoban expert on. And
Well, wasn't the 18 cents still valid postage? And
yeah,
20 cents gonna be the postage?
yeah, the rate changed within days, and then the Reagans wanted to use the stamp on the Christmas cards, and so the 20 cent stamp was developed. I think is how the story goes. I'm not real sure. And where the artwork, I think, on the cachet is kind of interesting and a little more text. And the Graebner chapter still gets really a large, has a large signature on the cachet. And the next one, this one is kind of an unusual color for a cachet. The actual cover, the color is really washed out. My scanner has a way of making the color a little bit brighter, and so that I did that. But evidently they decided just to do one color, and maybe the green was an experiment, or the green didn't come out quite right. I don't know. I just thought it was kind of an interesting cachet from the color standpoint.
Hey, Peter?
Yeah.
There was also, there were 2 cachets done for the Battle of Yorktown, which was issued on October 16th, 1981.
Okay.
So you might want to make a note of that for your want list.
Yeah. And the next one is there's a number of covers with the Washington stamp on it. This particular cachet on the back of the envelope notes that the cachet is the book plate that Washington placed in all of his books in his personal library, and it shows his part of his coat of arms, and it was used on this. I thought it was kind of an effect. When I first saw it, I couldn't quite figure out what the heck it was.
This cachet cost the chapter a fortune. And I don't think we, from my understanding, that we ever paid all the bills on it.
Because of the
It
right.
was engraved and all that by
Oh.
BEP engravers and the whole bit.
Yeah.
There's also a card, a souvenir card that we did.
It
Well,
took us years and years and years and years to get rid of them all.
Well,
I had joined the chapter a couple of weeks before this was issued. I had been at Ike Snyder's stamp shop when George Alexander came in with a dozen cachets. I say a dozen, I don't know, 8 or 10, that he had designed in this issue with coins and all that embedded in them. And I said, "Oh, George, how can I get a set of those?" He said, "These are for me. These are mine." And then he told me if I wanted to join the chapter, go see Larry Carney. He told me where he lived. And
Well,
then I joined the chapter with Larry.
you can also see that this is a limited edition of 2,500,
That's correct.
which continues our conversation about limited editions. And the next one is a little more of a generic with a hand cancel from Mount Vernon. And I think the next one, it has the Masonic cancel. And I think there's one more. Oh, the Masonic cancel cover has this particular cancel on the back of it. And, you know,
Yeah, well, that was at Merrifield.
yeah, this is the Merrifield. And I didn't realize, maybe I knew that this was on the back of that envelope or not, but when I was doing the scans the other night, when I flipped it on my scanner, I saw that, oh God, there's another cancel on the back of this envelope. I don't remember ever seeing this cancel at Merrifield, and probably way before my time.
It
And
was there for a number of years.
Yeah, and I mean, I knew where it was, and
Do you have the chapter's souvenir card on this issue?
no.
That's another thing to look for.
And then I think the next one has a birthplace station cancel.
I probably have at least 10, maybe 15 different UOs on this cachet. So there's plenty of varieties out there in
Oh, yeah.
both of these.
And the next cover is the Netherlands one. Now, sometimes when the signature on these covers shows up, it says serving DC, Maryland, and Virginia, and other times it doesn't. And then sometimes it's Robert spelled out, or just here's ROBT, which I don't know if it is the proper way of doing that or not, but it is, the signature is a little different on this particular cover. And this one is a cover that was done by Gilcraft, and I included it because most of those were the other ones were this.
This was done for our convention in '82.
I was going to say this was a convention cover. It's a stamped envelope, and so it's kind of a unique cachet for the series. And then this is the Wolf Trap issue, a combo cover, and it has a stuffer card with the fundraising appeal in it. Wolf Trap Farm had burned to the ground shortly before the stamp came out, or shortly, and they were still trying to raise funds. And the story goes on the fundraising for this, it was so popular that they were able to get the funds needed to reconstruct Wolf Trap in a fairly short period of time.
The address, the Graebner, I think that's Steve Tripp's address on that one.
I was going to ask anybody know whose address that was.
I'm pretty sure that's the late Steve Tripp.
Okay. The kind of interesting cachet, and I went to Wolf Trap several times when I lived in the area, and it's really a great place. And the next cover, again, is the Civilian Conservation Corps. And again, in today's world, this might not be a politically correct cover either. And the guy, I don't know. You don't want to say no. And I guess Luray and we say the Luray first day ceremony is we're gonna. I can't quite remember what I was going to say about Luray.
I think that was where the first CCC camp was.
Oh yeah, you're right. That's okay. The next one is the Medal of Honor. Now, this one is interesting because it says honoring all of the 3,411 winners of the Medal of Honor, and nobody wins the Medal of Honor. You're a recipient is the way I've always heard it. And I suppose this one would have gotten some editing had it come out in this day and age. I know a lot of people will say that, you know, he won the Medal of Honor, yada, 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 but that's not really.
It's received.
It's received. And, but it's an interesting cachet, and I think there's a number of different versions of this out there. I think I've only got maybe the one. I have whatever Carl had. Here's the go. Yeah. Moving on. I think somehow or another, white envelopes are hard to come by for this issue because this one comes out in kind of a buck pink envelope.
I don't think it was done on white envelopes.
And it just wasn't done that way. I don't know why. And why it didn't come out in DC, I don't know. West Hartford.
But, you know, if I remember correctly, that's an oversized envelope, right?
No,
No,
it's a number 6. It's just the scan's just a little bit oversized. It's a nice cachet, and I don't know who did the cachet.
Well, I think some of them were, this is not a 6 3/4 envelope, right?
Yes, it is.
Yes, it is.
It is.
how do you know that's a Graebner cachet?
Maybe it doesn't show on the scan. You can try. Let me look at it again.
The reason I ask is I don't see anything on the chapter on it, and maybe it has a stuffer or something.
It's
Somehow or other, I remembered
it is a
this
Graebner.
came over so far that the cancel always hit inside there. That's why I was asking.
About 3/8 of an inch below the words Washington D.C. It says Robert Graebner Chapter in kind of silver.
Oh, I can't see that. Yeah.
It doesn't show on this scan. The scan is enlarged, and I guess we can't move the scan around. But it is a Graebner, and
Yeah, I've seen the cover, but I did not realize it was a Graebner cover.
yeah.
And I thought the envelope was supposedly off-white,
Well,
like a beige or something.
yeah, it's kind of. I guess it's kind of a beige. I'm looking at it. Maybe over time it's kind of changed color. The back of the envelope is a little different than the front, but
The reason it was issued in West Hartford, Connecticut is that's where Guy Indet's first school for the deaf was.
oh, okay.
And it looks like that stamp was right up to the edge of the envelope where it just wasn't scanned right.
But part of it's how I put them in the PowerPoint. This one didn't come quite as good as other ones. And
It's a 1/4 inch from the edge, top and bottom. But it's just a particular scan is a little bit oversized.
I think this one is PowerPoint's fault.
Yeah.
Or the poor quality person who put it in PowerPoint.
Yeah. One of those two. And the next one.
This one had the same problem.
Yeah. And this was a convention cover too. I've got 2 of these with, various combinations of stamps on it. It's kind of an unusual cachet in that it has the kind of like almost a photograph of John Stevenson and I don't know, it's an interesting cachet. At first, I think when I first saw it online, when I bought it, I thought it was maybe a real photograph on there, but
You know the story behind why we did the 83 convention after doing the 82?
now,
I know my history of remembrance going back that time is a long, long time ago, but I went up with somebody in the chapter to look at the show in New Jersey where we were supposed to be doing that 83 convention. I can't think of the name of the show anymore, but we all decided that they didn't look like they were up to hosting our convention. So at the last minute, Graebner hosted it again at the same location.
It was going to be at NoJack's, and NoJack's
Project, yeah.
was in its last year at an overly small hotel. Not knowing where they were holding it, it was probably, I wasn't involved in the AFDCS at the time, but it was a wise decision.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, it looked bad up there. Now, that next cachet you're about to show,
yeah,
that was the first cachet that Paul Johnson did for the chapter.
that's what I was going to say, and it's printed in thermograph.
And he hand drew all of that, and we, the picture, the portrait and all that, and we printed it by thermography in one color.
Yeah. I've only run across a couple of cachets that are printed that way. The Vietnam one coming up shortly is printed that way. And the next cover, this one has all 4 stamps on it, and
I wasn't involved with that.
here the Robert C. Graebner chapter stands out proud as being the cachet maker. Probably the largest signature I've seen on any of them.
I believe that was the first Graebner cover Larry Carney ever sold me.
Okay. And the next one.
Paul did that one too.
Okay, yeah. This one doesn't have a first day cancel. I mean, that's the first day date, but it doesn't say first day of issue. And I was kind of curious about the cancellation.
I can tell you about that cancel. That's when the post office was in where the museum is now. And you could hand the clerk a bunch of things and she or he would take it to the back room and run them through that wavy line.
Okay.
Old Model D.
Well, that answers that question. I kind of thought it was maybe something like that, but
no, we did that all the time before they closed that post office.
And the next one is birth of Harry Truman. Today is also Harry Truman's birthday. And the only reason I know that is because it's also my grandmother McClure's birthday. And then Grandma always said that Harry should be honored to have been born on her birthday.
And
I'm pretty sure she never ever voted for him. Several times he ran for office as vice president or president, but she liked to boast that she was born on the same day as the president of the United States.
This is also the first stamp designed by, at the time, Christopher Cowan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
And I'm sure he'd autograph it for you.
Yeah.
It doesn't want to lower the value of it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
But if you look at the ones he autographed at the time, they're all signed Christopher Cowan.
That's before he became famous.
Before he had to start signing autographs, realized it was quicker to sign Chris than Christopher.
And the next one, this is a panda cover. And
Well, I had that designed by Paul,
yeah,
the Graebner chapter.
because I didn't show the back of the cover, but on the flap on the back there is a black and white panda on the back of it.
Well, I'll tell you what happened there. I forgot, but it's not a panda. Panda may have produced it, but we had a whole bunch of envelopes and they all got run through the thing with the panda on the back. And it turned out some of them were for the Graebner chapter, but you know.
Well, the ones,
That's the way it goes. That was called an error.
well, the ones I have all have the black and white band on the back. And this has got the old post office castle, which I recall there being up on the mezzanine, a little hole in the wall post office type thing where you could get this
The
castle.
old post office building downtown, the
Yeah,
one that Trump owns now, or
and now
rents,
the Trump
whatever.
Hotel. And there's one more of this, which is a combo, I think. No, oh, this was canceled in Baltimore on the same day, and I'm not quite sure why, but somebody made the trip to Baltimore to cancel it.
but very possibly Blair Law, or maybe Bill Bayless.
Well, it could have been Blair, could have been Jerry, it could have been Bill Bayless. I mean,
But this has a nice castle. And
Yeah.
next one, again, a thermograph printed cachet for the Vietnam Veterans Memorial. And this one is signed D.F. Bell.
I don't know him. I didn't do that.
I wondered if anybody knew who D.F. Bell was.
Lorraine will probably be able to tell you. I think she does.
Probably did this. And the next one is a stamp for the Pentagon cancel. And I don't know. In '84, could a civilian walk into the Pentagon? Could you get to the concourse where the Pentagon post office was in '84?
DC Post
I think
Office
so, yes.
had that canceled.
You could get there from the metro.
Well, no, I mean, but I knew where the post office was in the Pentagon, but it seemed like every time I moved in much later than this. It was in a secured area, and I didn't have an ID to get in.
Well, I
And
didn't have a military ID, but I got in whenever I wanted. I forget exactly how, but it was open. We could go in and get the cancel.
And that was one of the cancels that the cancellation unit, may have been Leola at the time had.
That was later.
Okay.
They went over there later. But there was a time that we could go into the Pentagon. Then when they couldn't get into the Pentagon, then the cancellation unit got the Pentagon canceled. They had the State Department cancel. I'm not certain if they had Treasury or not, but they had several of the cancels that you could get right from the philatelic unit once they closed down the Pentagon for access.
Well, I never knew that. I mean, I was able to get some Pentagon cancels because my brother-in-law had a military ID and got them for me. So I mean, I was able to work around it, but I could never personally ever get there. And the next cancel, our next cover is there's a bunch of this same cachet. When these flag stamps came out in '85, there was this smaller one, and then there was another one. These things came out, and as the cachet says, in booklets and sheets and coils. And
I had that one designed by Paul.
Yeah, and this one has a flag town.
Either Len Sauter or Jerry Adelman got those.
Yeah.
And Bill Crandell could have gotten some of them up there.
Yeah, and there's a bunch of cancels here that are we just kind of go through them quickly. This is the Baltimore one.
That one existed for many, many years in the main Baltimore post office.
Yeah.
And then the philatelic clerk there retired, and who knows what happened to it.
In those years in the 80s, when we all had the DC stamps, we all met at the post office, now the museum. We all cranked up a bunch of covers. We exchanged them with 3 or 4 people, usually Bill Crandell, Len Sauter, Jerry Adelman, occasionally 1 or 2 others. And then we all went different places and got cancels and then mailed them back to each other.
Okay. And then this is the larger size of the stamp that came out of Rebecca, Wisconsin. I was gonna look up why this happened, but I didn't quite get around to it. So same cachet. And then again, here's the postal pavilion post boutique. And this particular cancel was available with a different date. Couldn't they change the date on this?
This is an interchangeable date cancel.
Yeah. And
And that used to be held in the philatelic unit.
that's what I thought. And we're now down to 85 with the Korean War.
Yeah, I had Paul design that one.
And the next one is the World War One.
And the same there.
Same there too. There is a series of these. I only have about 6 of these. I haven't been able to find a full set,
Oh, really?
and they just don't show up on eBay, and Carl doesn't have them.
We did 8 of them for the eight presidents in Virginia.
Is that all that was done?
There were,
No. All the presidents were done. It was an all chapters project. And between all the chapters, all the covers were done, or all the stamps were done.
you can find a set of 36 if you look
Okay.
hard enough.
That was my question. Is there a set of 36 out there?
Yeah. And
Well,
Paul did the drawings here. He drew that picture.
Or would the signature be different on the ones that the Graebner did not do?
They came, some were printed in one color, some had different size cachets. I mean,
Oh,
it was a mishmash. Every chapter that did it was responsible for getting their cachet printed whichever way they did it.
wow.
And they also exist with the presidential birthplace cancels later on.
Well, maybe I've been looking for the wrong things, because I have about 6 of these or 7. So maybe I have more of the Graebner ones than I thought.
Graebner did around eight of them for the Virginia presidents. The
Yeah,
other
well, I think we also did the White House. We did a
Yeah,
couple.
I have the White House cover.
Yeah, we did whatever other chapters didn't do, we filled in and did them. I don't remember at this point what ones were. I have no idea where my set is.
That answers a couple of questions.
I know that Bill Pry of Chapter 56 is attempting to put together a set, and he's just picking up one here and there, but he's still in the process of putting them together. He has Chapter 56's cover.
I sent DA Lux a bunch of them for him about a year ago. If I know Pete needed them, Pete might have got them.
Yeah, I'm going to have to regroup, because I've been looking for covers with this type of cachet, and evidently I've been looking for the wrong type.
You actually need to build 2 sets, this set and with the presidential birthplace cancels.
Yeah.
Right,
Okay.
right when I joined Graebner, and probably Larry or Lorraine sold them all to me.
Okay.
Well, I have a couple of questions on that. There's a set with the first day, and there's a set with the birthplace. Now, there are Graebner cachets. Did the other chapters do their own cachet?
Yes,
So there is not a complete set of the 36 presidents with the Graebner cachet.
that's my recollection without going upstairs and finding 1986 box.
Well, that's why I was confused about this, because I kept looking for them, and all different sellers, and I had several sellers that had this cachet. I mean, but I couldn't find the other presidents, and so
They were done by other chapters.
That's why I couldn't find them. Okay, well, moving along.
Well, Pete, I have 14 different cachets for the Graebner chapter for the birthplace series.
Okay.
So
I guess we
that
did 14 of them then.
what?
I guess we did 14 of them.
And I'll look here. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. Yeah, I think I've got 14 for the first days. Afterward, I'll check what I got, and I'll send you an email so you have an idea what to look for.
Yeah. I just never saw them. always found kind of, usually I'd find one, if I could find a Lincoln one, or I could find a Harding or something, but, well, moving along. This one's got kind of a more modernistic look to it. From 1987, it looked like something we might have produced in this day and age, and kind of interesting cachet, Moroccan one.
That was an evening ceremony. I think what Society of Cincinnati or something like that up in Georgetown. It was. I remember the building was in just all kinds of military related artifacts, and a little reception with drinks afterwards in the patio in the back. And Secretary of State George Shultz was the speaker.
Oh.
One of the first ceremonies I went to.
And the next one is Girl Scouts. And weren't there some issues about,
Yeah, I had Paul do that one.
were the copyright issues with this one, or am I
Girl
thinking-
Scouts didn't want anyone to show any merit badge or any Girl Scout badges.
Oh, okay.
I thought Paul did a good job of getting around all the copyright on that one.
It's and then here's the oath of office.
And that was back to Stampone.
And the next one, this is Gearlings, Franz and Linda. I don't know really the story behind it. When I first saw it, I didn't recognize it as a Graebner cover, and
Lorraine and I reached out to Franz, and he said, "Sure, I'll do a cachet." And it also exists as a hand painted Gearlings cachet.
this one's printed and it has the stuffer card with it.
I'm thinking this was probably process printed and probably cost us a fair amount of money.
Yeah, it's a nice cover, and it's one of the more unusual Graebner covers out there.
Yeah, I forget the particulars on that.
And I always thought this was a really nice cachet. It isn't signed. I don't know.
I don't remember who did that.
I know Joe, was it Perscoli or from Springfield Stamp Club did this one?
Okay.
I don't know what was the last
That
name?
I don't know.
Joe, somebody or other from Springfield Stamp Club.
Well, Joe Coscoli did some, but I don't know that he did that one.
He did this one.
Okay, I didn't know that.
He did it maybe 3 or 4 in a row. I don't remember why. I think maybe Lorraine just wanted variety. I don't know. But yeah, Joe did this one.
It's signed RC Graebner now on this particular one. And the next one is again a kind of a different looking cover. And I don't know.
Lorraine probably did that one, and she had some artist from down in Richmond area. I forget his name.
Was Anthony Woolridge, and he was a political cartoonist for a Richmond newspaper, and he did Edward R. Morrow and a few other Graebner cachets.
Yeah, he did.
So this is again a kind of a unique looking one.
Very nice style. I don't know why we stopped using them, but I liked his work.
Yeah, I do too. And the next one, again, it is a different style one.
That could have been Anthony Woolridge as well. I'm not sure.
Yeah, I wasn't involved in doing it. Lorraine did a lot of these in the 90s.
Yeah, I know I had planned to go to the first day for this particular stamp, and somehow or another, my plans fell through. But kind of interesting, just a totally different looking cachet from all the other Graebners that we've seen earlier today. And this is the flipper cover for the Buffalo stamp, and I think Lorraine used this again for the 2002 West Point stamp. At least the artwork. She might have changed the text on it. I don't know. It seems to me that it's almost identical to the one I have in my.
Yes, we
West
can
Point one.
recycle it for West Point. I'm pretty sure this is another Anthony Woolridge
I
cachet.
think so too.
And here is a Cal Ripken breaking the record one. Kind of interesting one. The choice of stamps confused me on this. I wasn't quite sure. Maybe it was just postage that was used.
Oh, Grandma Moses has a baseball game on it. Painting.
I see, said the blind man. Yeah.
What did he say?
The Grandma Moses has a picture of people playing baseball
Okay.
in the middle of the painting.
Yeah,
There you go. Well,
yeah.
I now see it.
I'm not
And
sure what why the carousel horses were on. Probably was whatever stamps Lorraine had left over, and we all know Lorraine had stamps by the thousands.
Well, it has a ubiquitous vending machine penny stamp, which everybody was using when they were buying coils for the German stamp dealers. I used to go to the post office in Woodbridge where they had the machine. And I don't know if this is the Eckegaard or whatever the other company was called, but there would be people in there with just stacks of bills shoving in the machine, and then they would put in the appropriate number of penny stamps so they could get the coil for the 29-cent, 5 29-cent stamps. And I was guilty of that too, and I think I still have a fair amount of those penny stamps.
Yeah, I do too.
Here's a Goldberg cachet. Again, it's too bad that the scan's a little bit out of size, but
This was done for the Graebner chapter also,
yep, and it's Graebner, and
and it was printed in process color.
yeah.
We paid Bernard for doing the artwork in uncached 1939 baseball first day covers that he probably then charged $50 or $100 for, but we saw an awful lot of these covers.
Yeah, this is a nice cover.
This part right here, the next to the white was gray. That should have been cut out when they printed it, but they didn't do it. So
We like it.
only his name should have appeared at the bottom, but you know, that's the way it goes.
Here's another. This is obviously a Lorraine special.
Yeah.
And very, very interesting. She stuck stamps every place she could. And the next one, this will be one of two Admiral cachets I've got for.
I had that one printed.
Yeah. I was gonna say this is Rollin did this one. We'll have one with the machine cancel, and then the next one has a hand cancel on it.
We initially printed 750 of these and sold them all out by the time the first day ceremony was over in Annapolis.
I went to the ceremony at the Academy for this, and Lorraine had a table, as I recall, casually set up not far from the building where the ceremony was held, and she had a suitcase or a big briefcase or a big box of stuff sitting there, and she had a line of people waiting to buy covers.
The story is that table initially belonged to the Annapolis Stamp Club.
Okay.
And they neither printed 50 or 100 cachets. And they had several thousand Naval Academy alumni there, and they wanted to every one of them wanted a souvenir. So Lorraine and I said, they said, would you be interested in selling at our table? I think we gave them a quarter for each cover we sold, and I know we sold 750 Graebner, who knows how many of Lorraine's, and
Oh, yeah.
reprinting it that night.
Yeah, it was unusual. And the Shore Patrol was nowhere to be found, so. Here is an interesting cachet, and again, it's a little bit oversized. It's signed on the bottom by the child that did it. It made the cachet, and I think it's Coog or maybe I can find it here in my box.
Actually, not a child. It was a woman who worked at Stanley Adams where we were printing the cachets.
Oh, okay.
And Lorraine was talking to her one day, and the woman said, "Well, I do artwork," and I think she did this and one other, may have been Circus, one other Graebner cachet.
Well, it's signed copyright Cheryl I. KUG. KVG. I don't know.
She worked at Stanley Adams in Arlington.
Yeah, they've long since left Arlington.
Down the street from, I think it was Courthouse Metro.
I went to the kids' care ceremony for that particular stamp, and it was kind of an interesting ceremony. It was outdoors on the mall in DC, as I recall. It wasn't very well attended. And here's another Goldberg. This is a combo cover with or a dual cancel cover with the 96 and the 98 stamp.
Peter, do you have any of the chapters Marilyn Monroe covers?
You talking to me?
That was dated June 1st, 1985, or 1995. They
Monroe, maybe not.
because the chapter did Marilyn Monroe, and they made a big effort to get them canceled at different places.
No, I don't.
Monroe, Wisconsin, Monroe, so and so.
I don't have.
Like
I don't
30 or 40 different places.
Yeah.
I don't have any.
Well, I'll see what I can do.
Thank you. I don't have. Here's another Lorraine one, and I included this because of the Smokey Bear stamp and the conservation stamp. I could see all the other, cartoon and moving pictures stamps, but why she included Smokey Bear and the other ones on there, I don't know.
Write Lorraine a letter, she'll tell you.
Yeah.
He had extra of the stamps.
So I think she got. I think she. Does it look like she got the license for this?
Yes, we got a lot,
I think we did.
and they provided us with the artwork.
Okay. There's another cachet which I didn't scan for this. Maybe a couple more. And I threw this one in too because it's another Lorraine special with the all section stamp. It's a number 10.
Yeah.
And yeah, Roland, I do have them. The only reason I dislike number 10s is they don't go well through my printer. So I don't.
It's also on a number 6 3/4.
Yeah, but this has all the other foreign baseball stamps on there. Kind of interesting. I don't have a full set of these. I only got one or two of these. And the next cover is kind of unusual. It's one of the only covers I've seen that Graebner has done where the cachet fills the entire envelope, which is common right now. I'm not particularly a fan of these covers. I mean, I do have them, I do buy them. I'm kind of a traditional left side cachet collector. I prefer to have the stamp and the.
Lorraine arranged that one as well.
Yeah, I prefer to have the stamp and the cancel really visible. This might have been an experiment. She found a postal card or a engraved image or something. It didn't print very well on the cover. It's kind of muddy, but there it is. Kind of interesting. I had a lot of fun with those stamps. Here's the World War.
I did these.
Yeah, I was gonna say this has the veterans
There's
on.
actually two different cachets.
Yeah, there are.
Yeah, I only have this one, and I don't have one with a regular first aid kit. This is the only cover I have with this cachet.
Yeah.
With
I
the-
have them autographed by all of the people on both cachets.
So this is the only one you have of that one?
This is the only one I have of the World War II. Yeah, that's the only one I got.
I'll go do some work.
Okay, well,
Yeah, the other one has Blair Law, and I'm trying to remember who the other two were.
Lee Howard is on one,
Blair Law, Lee Howard,
and Blair Law is on one. So it would be Lee and Blair, and I forget who the third one was.
It evidently covers for service of a lot of the mail-in cancels. You know, this is from Ohio. So here is the Snoopy Red Baron cover. This was a big issue for me when I was making cachets. This was a big issue for me, but I thought this was kind of a nice, you know, and the cachet doesn't really show Snoopy, so it's kind of a you know, if somebody had challenged it on the license thing, they say, well, I don't see Snoopy on there.
I think I was the one who came up with the idea behind it. And yeah, there was a lot of, we were afraid of using Snoopy's image and getting a cease and desist letter. So we went with the Red Baron. I thought it worked.
Yeah, it does work, and I did a lot of with Snoopy images. I never got any cease and desist letters except for one issue with the Zamboni company, which we won't talk about today, but kind of interesting cachet. Here's a series of covers that this is the Blair Law Memorial cover, canceled for the elk envelope. And then the next one is for the postal card at St. Mary's University. Not St. Mary's University.
Otto and I and Neil went to that ceremony.
What was an evening ceremony with a concert. And the other thing I remember about going to that one is I'm trying to remember whoever was Postmaster General at the time was ahead of me pulling in. Of course, he got, and no security guard. It was him and his son. He got to pull in the VIP parking lot. I had to go to the regular lot, but I remember he was the car in front of me.
And the next one.
Well, that particular ceremony was very nice, and they had the Postmaster General stayed afterward and signed everything.
Yeah.
What won the better ceremonies?
And then here's a very young looking Foster Miller on the stamp show station cover from Hartford. And here's a very young looking Otto Township for the
Lord. Well, that was a while ago. Mayday.
and then this is what Foster had me make for May Day, kind of the same series of cachets. And how's May Day doing? Is anybody hear from her? Or?
I have no update.
No, okay. I'm just kind of wondering.
I have the same question you do.
That's
Okay.
three of us. I haven't heard from her since before we had it in person, when we had in-person meetings.
Okay. And I think we're almost to the last. This is the last cover. It's not a Graebner cover, but it ought to be, right, Roland?
Yeah.
Who did this? Who did this cachet?
Paul designed it.
Oh, did Paul do that for it?
Yeah.
The cover I had isn't marked, and
As I recollect, anyway.
yeah.
I hadn't seen that cover.
Roland will sell you one.
You see, it says Panda Cachets down right here.
Oh, there it is.
It's not a Graebner cover.
No,
Well,
it says Panda on it.
Down low.
It says it there, and it's on the wing.
Oh, see,
And
that.
on the side of the plane.
Okay.
I never
Oh.
understood the pandas all over the plane.
Okay. Missed that part.
It's
Well,
nice
it's
to catch up.
a fairly new cover, and so, okay. And I think that's the last one. And there's one more slide. Yeah, that's it.
Great. Very informative, Pete.
So that's my early ones, and the stash is
Good show.
That was great.